Alrighty then. Let's go. Okay, so welcome to Sunny Redemption Sealy number 19. Yep, I am happy to do that. Okay. Sunny Redemption Sealy number 19, where we try to navigate the rough waters of the video game industry. And holy, as of an hour ago, Nintendo is suing Pocket Pair for patent infringement.
Okay, well that shoe finally dropped, I guess. I didn't hear about that.
Cue the smell of lawyers in the morning.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, we gotta talk about this for a second while I collect my thoughts on all the other stuff that's been happening this crazy week. Like, do you think Nintendo has a case?
They must if they're willing to pursue actual action. I would assume, and given that it's been, like, what, almost a year probably since Palworld came out? You know, they've been biding their time, probably making sure they have, like, an airtight case. Rather than just jumping into it and potentially losing something.
I'm fine with diving, by the way.
Oh, yeah. I was just checking for Reapers and grabbing a few supplies.
Okay, sure.
So, yeah. Did you put down a voyage?
I did. Whenever you're ready.
I'll go vote in a sec. Yep.
Yeah, like...
but I guess they must have something. Did you say... Wait, so did you, like, read up on this? Like, do you know what
just a
specifically
little bit.
they're suing for? Because there's the possibility of, like, the monster designs or just the general concept, I guess.
All it says, I believe, is... I'm just making sure I refresh my memory, because this was something I found out about in the Xbox subreddit.
Yeah, maybe I can skim an article while we're sailing, just so I can look at it too, because I'm kind of curious about it now.
Yeah, well, this is where all the, quote, real gaming journalists get their news from anyway, is Reddit rumors, so... like, the Eurogamer thing about the Nintendo Switch 2 is sourced from Reddit. Anyway, so, it says, specifically, that the lawsuit seeks an injunction against infringement and compensation for damages on the grounds that Palworld, a game developed and released by the defendant, infringes multiple patent rights. So they're not being specific right now.
Okay.
I'm sure that when the court filings come out, that will be the thing.
Well, right off the bat, patent rights doesn't scream monster designs. That would be actual, like, game design or game mechanics, I would guess. I'm not a lawyer.
Are they going to try to...
I only played Palworld once for a couple hours, so the only thing I can think of is, like, the concept of catching the characters in a ball.
I was about to say, are they trying to patent monster catching? Because apparently one commenter said Dragon Quest is feeling nervous right now, even though they've predated Pokemon.
Dragon Quest
you can speak more to that.
A good 5 years before Pokemon. 5 or 6 years. And that was a direct influence on Satoshi Tajiri, the creator of Pokemon. Like, that's a cited influence, so I don't think Dragon Quest has anything to worry about. I do wonder, like, why are they targeting Palworld specifically, if that is the case that they're making? Because there have been plenty of other monster catching games that have gotten very, very, felt like they've skirted the line, like, Temtem? Yeah, that's a games thing, right? Temtem?
Right,
that one that came out a few years ago, and other ones that have just kind of existed too. Like, I guess Palworld's the one that has been the most... Yeah, away from them. I guess Palworld's the one that's been gained the most notoriety.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Obsessed with it, so that's why they're the target worth going after for this. Because Nintendo, for as much as they get for being litigious, like, they mostly only go after things that are seeking to profit off of things. Like, there are plenty of fan sites or fan games that exist out there from Nintendo, things that aren't seeking profit, that have existed for a long time.
And plenty that have been taken down, too.
Yeah. So it's not as if they go after literally everything. It's just, a lot of times it has to reach a certain threshold of notoriety. So I think in this case, I think that's a big reason why Palworld is the one being targeted, but I still wonder the specifics of like what they're citing for reason to actually go after this one.
I thought mechanically, agree with it or not, and I'm very much not in the camp of liking survival gameplay, as you know. But
the game itself is nothing
different.
like it. Like the moment-to-moment gameplay is not very much like Pokemon, but the actual mechanics of catching and like obviously, I don't want to say anything regarding them because I was just skimming an article while we were selling a bit, and it seemed like it's not really about the monster designs, although some of those did seem pretty close to where I wouldn't be surprised if that was part of the case.
That'd be more trademark than it.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that's what they're going after with this specific patent thing, because patent would fall over more broad game design specifics. So I wonder. I guess they must be going after something regarding the specific capture and training loop of the monsters. I don't know. And they must think they have enough grounds to stand on to win, or at least settle a case on that.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a settle unless it's just so egregious. And then Palworld will have to change some things about how they talk about the monsters and how you actually obtain them. Because catching, I guess, in the stupidest version of reality, could cause confusion for some grandmoms. I'm gonna buy an Xbox with Pokemon on it for my grandchild.
The thing that I don't particularly just have to, going kind of my first reaction is even if Nintendo is within their right to do something like this, I don't like. Not that this is the first time that something like that would have happened, where a company gets sued for game mechanics plagiarism or whatever, but I don't like Nintendo. I don't like high-profile cases like this getting out there and maybe encouraging more developers to make a lot of their game design things feel more proprietary. I don't like the notion of that. Because I feel like so much of the industry has been built on refining mechanics that already existed.
Right,
and
because
I didn't really
as long as you do
Palworld
something different.
I didn't really care for Palworld and how it implemented its mechanics. And, clearly you could see the Pokemon influence a mile away in a lot of ways, but I don't feel like it was, to me, doing anything to really overstep those boundaries. If it was a game that dropped you in a world and said, go get 8 badges and battle these Pokemon, and there's 151 of them or something like that, and there's a professor who gives you a encyclopedia, that's when it's like, okay, this is a ripoff. This is a ripoff of something, of an established idea. The notion of capturing monsters to train them, that's so much more of a gray area that I wouldn't want to see Nintendo win a case like that on those grounds. If that's what they're going after.
Patent and Trademark Office was thinking either, but I think they filed the patent in Japan, and the laws of Japan are very different. And obviously, I'm not a lawyer in either jurisdiction.
Yeah, I can't claim to have any knowledge of Japanese patent law, so I'm just going off of the things, the little bit that I know, based on where I live in the U.S. So.
Right, and this isn't the first time that a company has patented game mechanics, though. I mean, many games while loading were patented by, Namco, I think it was, with Ridge Racer?
Namco with Ridge Racer, because you play Galaga on the loading screen.
Right, and that
took a while.
Back for a while.
Yeah, the thing is, other games would do loading screen things. I guess, in that case, Namco just didn't really try to. I don't know if Namco ever actually enforced that against anyone, because other games definitely did that. It was just pretty few and far between. I can think of the Dragon Ball Budokai games did that, a few others that I can't really think of, but yeah. I feel like that's something where I think people just generally steered clear of it out of fear of Namco doing something, but I don't think they ever acted on it. I could be wrong. But yeah, that kind of stuff. And the one that comes to mind for me is, I remember in the mid-2000s, maybe earlier than that, it was after Simpsons Road Rage came out. Sega, I don't know if they actually pursued any litigation against him, but they were mad at EA for copying a lot of Crazy Taxi stuff for Simpsons Road Rage. I remember hearing about that. That's the one that comes to mind for me. Specifically, the like arrow over the car and the timer was basically,
what?
you know, in Sega's mind was identical. So I think for a while, a lot of developers steered away from having like arrows over cars to indicate things. And I feel like, I mean, this is all just my own theory, but I wonder if that kind of spurred a lot of more of the what we see now with the GPS style navigation for like the under the car arrows.
Realism is also very important in racing games a lot of the time.
But I feel like because Crazy Taxi sort of had a monopoly on that concept, they
yeah, that's true.
I feel like
monopoly stifle innovation. They just do.
Yeah.
Like,
so that's a case that comes to mind to me when I think of game design patents actually being enforced.
Yeah, like again, monopolies do stifle innovation. We would not have gotten the variety of games that we have if id Software had patented Doom. Because FPS games were called Doom clones forever. Until they ended up becoming more of a genre of their own after GoldenEye, Halo, etc. By the way, I'm very pleased with myself for finding a riddle clue.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I was looking for something else and then realized I was on the wrong part of the island, so nice.
Well, so, yeah, speaking of monopolies, the console space has always settled into a predictable triumvirate since, like, since Nintendo's actual monopoly disappeared. Like, and Sega Genesis could actually have third-party developers come to them. I'm just shooting myself out of a cannon, don't mind me. Whee! Okay, so... like, Sega would not have been able to compete if Nintendo had continued to dominate in this way. It did take Sonic the Hedgehog to really get people interested, but I feel like there was a bunch of lower but still palpable interest around the launch of the Sega Genesis based on sports games of the time.
I'm dead.
That I can't remember because... yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, like, the Genesis from 1989 to 1990 was basically just... it was seen as, like, the arcade conversion and sports console. That's what they were offering that Nintendo really wasn't targeting
Sega does what
as
Nintendo
much.
don't.
Yeah.
Because you have to differentiate.
Any Sega commercial from before Sonic the Hedgehog, it's basically all sports games. It's like sports games and, like, a couple other random games they had. So they had a niche carved out, and then, you know, Sonic was what finally allowed them to kind of market on the Nintendo level of, like, hey, look at all this other stuff, and push their own development further.
Speaking of marketing on a Nintendo level, though, like, Xbox must be nervous about this lawsuit because Palworld was their biggest game of this year. Which is ridiculous to say.
Yeah, I'm sure they got that on Game Pass, and would, if that game, like, suddenly was unavailable, it would be like, what the hell? And I know
batteries are low. Why?
Oh, that's not good.
I'll figure it out later. If that means I have to kill my camera, I will.
Yeah, you don't have the cord long enough to plug it in.
I can go get one. I'll just be a minute once we're sailing. Yeah, we'll see how long it actually lasts. It usually gives me the battery low warning. No matter what I do.
I know. Yeah, Microsoft had the Game Pass stuff with Palworld, and I know Sony was like giving them. I don't know if they were giving them development money or what, but they were trying to, like, work out the PS5 port and stuff for a while.
Oh yeah.
And I know they had something going on financially with them. So I'm sure they both would not be happy if something happened to Palworld.
Because we all know Sony loves to throw its money around. I mean, and apparently is very stupid about it, because apparently 100 million of the 200 million for Concord was buying the original developer from the original owner and, like, transferring control. So Sony knows how to money hat, for sure. They do not know how to make compelling games, it seems. At least not right now. That aren't in a particular third-person cinematic mold. And so they need to throw their money around.
They literally just put out Astrobot, though. I feel like Astrobot's a break from that mold.
That's like the exception that proves the rule, though, because people are still talking about Concord, and Astrobot has just gotten swallowed up in that conversation, as well as the PS5 Pro's timing. I'm sure they were planning the hardware for years, because apparently, like, the PS6 is going to have an AMD chip because of backwards compatibility, and they planned this in 2022. So by 2020 or so, they had to have had a plan for PS5 Pro. They just didn't realize that maybe it would be a good idea to delay this thing in the middle of a high inflation sensitivity environment, because they were riding high. They figured they couldn't do anything wrong, and you know what? The fact of the matter is that from console niches, we've gone to consoles that are just really far apart from each other and not competing as much. Unless Nintendo $2.99's the shit out of Sony with the Switch 2. Like, apparently it has 12 gigabytes of RAM. And that should be more than enough to run PS5 games at a low but still very acceptable for people who want to play on the go resolution, but should make for a better TV experience as well. They're actually listening to their customers, because they have a USB-C port on the top now.
I saw that.
They have the other one on the bottom. But, like, glory be, Nintendo's actually responsive. They probably will still have Joy-Cons that drift, because every console maker has decided that it's better to just make a bunch of cheap crap that doesn't work, rather than go with the Hall effect method that was patented 20 years ago. That might be why it wasn't. And whenever they get in trouble, they seem to think, oh, well, instead of just making smaller games with worse graphics, why don't we just cut 12,000 jobs? Like, and not have Brandoville Studios abuse your employees while you're making Gears, or let's see, or just clarify that all those people you cut this week during Sony's week of bad news, 650 of them, were just corporate support roles. Like, you know, more lies about the Activision merger. And again, Microsoft just doesn't seem to be incentivized to actually, like, compete in the console race anymore. It seems like everybody wants to be Valve or Apple at the moment, just sitting on a nice, tidy storefront. But maybe the reason why consoles aren't doing as well, and why, like, they're trying all these ridiculous price increases, is because of the fact that store commissions are being threatened from 30 to 12%. And so they can't make as much money on the games, which means they need to make more money on the hardware. That's essentially turning it into the worst version of PCs and the worst version of consoles. Like, consoles where the games are expensive makes sense as long as the hardware is fairly cheap. Or at least affordable for someone, eventually. I mean, obviously. But, like, the era of unibody game discs, a competitive threat to Sony, has been neutralized with the fact that now the disc drives are going to be separate, and they are almost certainly going to be separate again on the PS6. Like, I think that's the point where if I were the government, I would step in, as I've said a few times before, and just make them make offline installers for games. Just so you can't put a bunch of online DRM bullcrap on single-player games and then lock people into arbitrary sales. But, like... Oh, this was the clue I already found.
Oh, really? Because I have a thing for a Mutant Snake's Lowly Shallow Grave. I thought it was here.
Oh.
I guess not.
Okay, well... I don't really know anything at this point, so I think, Fluke, Let's see, to the southeast. Ugh. Well, like... At least I'm kind of excited to play games again, because I'm actually kind of getting a little bit into Atlas Fallen, but more so the Plucky Squire. My God.
Yeah, I've heard some good things about that. Yeah. If I hadn't already blown my gaming budget for the month, I'd probably think about buying it at least.
The thing is that, of course, some dunderheaded commenter on Reddit said, "Oh, well, $30 for 8 to 9 hours of entertainment is not very good compared to modern games, but it's better than some at that price point." And I'm like, excuse you? The first 2 hours or so that I've been playing with this game, I've been like, okay, yeah, the game's not very challenging, and it's very basic, but it combines, like, it's like if, let me try and think. What's the top-down one? I'm not very familiar with the 2D games in the Zelda series, so you're gonna have to help me here.
It was like if is the only real 2D
swords,
game.
Or, like, I guess there's an overhead then.
Okay. Yeah,
it's like it's like if Four Swords was a single-player game, I guess, or Link's Awakening, and then he went on went into Mario World, and then he went into Punch-Out, and then he went into 3D into a 3D stealth game reminiscent of Metal Gear Solid, which is actually like better than a AAA game for $40 more, or a subscription, or $100 or whatever, that had such bad instant fail stealth missions that they're patching them. Like, if a $30 game can have less frustrating stealth sections than you've effed up. I'm sorry, Ubisoft. I'm gonna keep the Ubisoft Plus for a year that I've already bought,
by the way, your mic's cutting out a little bit. I'm only catching about half of what you're saying right now.
Oh, come the fuck on. Okay. Well, it might be that my USB receiver for my headphones is not in a good way, which is not great.
It's better right now.
Yeah, because I wiggled it.
Oh, okay.
Because I think the USB connection is weak, but anyway. Okay, so basically, like, the reason why this game is good is because it knows what it wants to be, instead of trying to be everything for everyone. That doesn't mean that you can't try to have the broadest appeal. I mean, look at the reception to Warhammer Space Marine 2 that's like, oh, this is a refreshing breath of fresh air when games took themselves less seriously and felt less like a job and stuff like that. And then also, of course, you have the chuds, like Asmongold, who, I don't know what he actually does. He just, like, sits on a chair and commentates on things out of his ass. At least I try to do research. So I'm calling him out right now for essentially injecting culture war bullshit into this. Like, no, because Space Marine 2 did not, because Space Marine 2 did well and Dustborn did not, does not mean your side won. It's not about sides, it's about the fact that Dustborn just wasn't a very good game, apparently. And for $30, you better be a really damn good game and stand out. Like, even at the $40 price range, people were calling Concord full price, which was like, isn't that what people used to say about $60 games, that they were full price? Like, is it just that any price at all is full price to people when there's not a PvE element, or what? Oh, okay. And, you know, while all this was going on, the entire staff of Annapurna Interactive resigned in an afternoon, leaving their entire publishing slate in disarray. If you're stuck on this, we can just move on from this island.
I'm looking up this clue right now because I think it's actually bugged, because I'm 100% sure that I'm at the right place.
Okay,
what I think might have happened here is the clues for these were actually... The two clues for these riddles are, like, right next to each other, so I think the trigger for one might have negated the trigger for the next clue or something, because I'm looking up the math for this island and the riddle clues, and it looks like I am in the right spot.
as I was saying during the last stream before apparently Sony decided to ninja mute my mic or something. Just kidding. I don't know. But anyway, like, basically what I was saying before about, what was it? I'm tired. It's been a bit of a day at work, but, oh, I know, like, publishers are going to smaller games, kind of, but they're doing it through, like, initiatives and stuff to insulate themselves from risk, and then putting all the risk on the developer. Like, EA Originals is just whatever EA doesn't want to make, but wants to pass off to other people now. And, now, the developers of Immortals of Avium are basically extinct, and many of their top people have left. And you know what happened? I tried to download the free trial for Tales of Kandera Zhao. It crashed. It just like wouldn't load past a black screen and then just didn't work. I tried to buy the game because I thought maybe the free trial was like blocking the game from loading or something, like even if I accepted the free trial conditions, but nope, turns out the game just doesn't work. I thought that was what console certification was for. To prevent this kind of thing. Where is the console certification? There's like anything about making a consoles a, yes, locked down, but polished experience. From menus to bugs to all sorts of crap. It does just feel like we have worse locked down PCs now. And if I want to play a PC game, I'll just play that on my PC. Or, on the rare occasion, on my Steam Deck. Because I was actually staying up until midnight to try and download the deluxe edition of Frostpunk 2. And unfortunately, that is not Steam Deck supported. I could have guessed, because of the fact that they probably need more time to work on the controller layout. But I have it on my Mac Mini, and I'm gonna play it after this is done, before I go to bed. So I can have some time of early access. Like the Lollipop Chainsaw remaster is a mess. The Bungie was told to just get your stuff together, basically, when it came to Bungie, and it wasn't all Sony's fault. So, like, what is going on with game development? Seriously. It feels like incompetent leadership that has been riding high off of their own successes for a very long time has, just decided that they know best because they're veterans and whatever, and just push through games after iterating and iterating and iterating in the pre-production phase, and like not knowing after iterating and iterating and iterating in the pre-production phase, and like not knowing the gameplay of the game that you're decided to make. I hate to be using Star Wars Outlaws as a punching bag because I used to be like, Star Wars about anything. But now I'm jaded. I have gone to the dark side. Star Wars is bad now. Oh! What is that? That doesn't sound good. Is that a Kraken?
What?
Oh, I just heard a really loud groaning sound, and I thought it was a Kraken.
That bassy horn sound.
Yeah.
I think that's the world... one of the forts or one of the world bosses.
Oh yeah, because there is like a skull thing.
Yeah, that's probably what it is, because we're somewhat close to that, but I think
okay,
we're all right.
Well, yeah, we'll move on. Oh, and speaking of Steve, I know what I was going to say. So, like, the fact that Sea of Thieves has so many bugs at this point, like, there's even animation. What?
I just got... What happened? Oh, you did too. Okay, let me respawn as fast as I can, because I heard some damage from the ship,
shot
too.
me?
And we were steering near a rock.
Ship.
Was that lightning?
No, okay, so I think we got hit and then juggled into lightning. Because I got struck by lightning and died.
I got the Flame of Fate for it, so... Wow, that sucked. Alright, well, let's hope the storm doesn't steer us into that rock that we're near.
Oh no!
Let me load in.
Oh no! Well, that would be a very bad way to die.
We really don't have any treasures. Oh, the ship is very flooded. Okay.
Uh-oh. I'm
bailing.
I'm gonna pull up the sails while you do that, okay?
Yeah, sail, and then start repairing.
Oh no! Oh no! Okay.
I'm bailing as fast as I can.
All right. Yep.
Keeping us kind of in stasis here. Once
I'm gonna help with bailing.
We'll be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, get us to a point where we're like
all right,
a little bit better.
Grab some wood for the mast, because I've pulled it up.
Yeah, perfect. All right.
Okay, yeah, we should be fine.
Yeah, we're
we decided to get juggled by nature.
Yeah, that was bad timing.
That was the weirdest death I've ever had in Sea of Thieves. And I thought I've seen some weird deaths before, but yeah, anyway. I was about to say that, like, there are bugs in the animation. There were bugs in the animation of your hands on the steering wheel before the. Not this again. Okay, it cut out again for a second. I gotta figure this out. But anyway,
I think we're all.
So I'm repairing mast. We do appear to be all right.
Wheels damaged too. I got it.
Okay, I'll get more wood for that. Oh nope, sounds like you got it. Okay, so what I was trying to say before Sea of Thieves intervened was that this really shows that the game is aging poorly at the moment. There's definitely a need for an update on a next-gen system. That's kind of what we're losing in the race to make everything compatible, is, like, clean breaks sometimes need to happen. Like, I'm kind of annoyed that there's not a Sims 5. Like, I kind of get why they're going for Project Green as multiplayer, but, like, have you not realized that... Okay, have you not realized that people don't want multiplayer as much in every game? I would like a next-gen Sims that has more realistic facial animations and stuff. I get that then you couldn't sell a bunch of expansions to people, and that's probably what they're talking about, but, like...
Yeah, that's always been the Sims, like, market strategy, is just have thousands of dollars worth of expansions.
Okay, well, apparently there's a Wrathful King's Bounty Skull right at this wreck, so... This is worth doing, for sure. Yeah, now there's, like... Oh! There was, like, loading glitches under the water for a second. There was even a loading glitch when we sailed. Or no, when we dove to the quest. Because it didn't load the water thing in time. I don't know what is going on.
I don't know, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, I don't know either. I'm kind of worried about my Xbox Series X then, because this isn't the... Tales of Kandera Zhao isn't the first game that's just gone to a black screen, and then never started. Like, I'll tell on myself here a little bit, but I've been playing a Chinese visual novel because the demo was so hilarious I had to try it. It's very much about, like, simplistic romance and stuff. But the demo worked, and then the game didn't for a second until I restarted my console. So, I don't know what was going on here with that. But, like, it seems like just gaming has become harder and harder with that. But, like, it seems like just gaming has become harder and harder with all these technical glitches and crap. Like, but at least the PS5 Pro is here to save the day with one thing. A 2 terabyte SSD. Because you know what?
I mean, that definitely contributes to the price, but it's also like games are just at that size at this point where it really feels somewhat necessary.
And if 2, 3, 4 terabytes becomes the default, then what's to say we won't get 500 gigabyte games as the norm in next gen? I mean, Call of Duty is already 500 gigabytes if you install everything, which is a little bit silly.
Like, I don't see why we choose to install everything.
No, that would be like multiple games worth of content.
They give you the option to install it piecemeal.
Yeah, it's just kind of complicated and annoying. Let's see. Well, like, again, I've been enjoying games a little bit more. The kinds that do go to a throwback without being technically broken or whatever. Like, Penny's Great Breakaway. I'm liking that more on the Xbox than I did on the Steam Deck.
Yeah, I was a few worlds into it, then I got sidetracked, but I do need to finish that. I really like the level design in that.
I think I can appreciate it more because like, the buttons are closer together. I do like the Steam Deck a lot for a lot of things, but it is slightly clunkier for FPS games because of that. Maybe if I want to, like, go into it portably, I can always just connect up a Bluetooth controller for things that really require a bunch of precision with controllers. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that was a really big glitch, but anyway. Let me die is what Sea of Thieves is trying to say. No, just kidding. I'm sure it'll continue to be popular for a long time. There's no reason that Sea of Thieves can't continue to exist alongside a Sea of Thieves 2. Be popular for a long time. There's no reason that Sea of Thieves can't continue to exist alongside a Sea of Thieves 2. But a Sea of Thieves 2 needs to be a clean break.
Yeah, I do wonder, like, what the next couple of years of updates are going to look like. Like, if we still see a lot of major stuff happening to actually expand the game, then I'll be like, okay, they're not going to put out a Sea of Thieves 2 for a few more years. But if it does start to slow down, then I think that would be a good sign that, hey, they might have
Immaculate Diamonds.
They might have, like, a full sequel coming sooner rather than later. Like, I think it definitely would be helpful to look to what they end up updating in the next year or two.
Like, again, I would have liked a next-gen clean break Sims 5, but I'm gonna get that with Inzoi, because sometimes you do have to just go with new experiences. And that doesn't mean, again, that the old game isn't there, because, like, I'm not sure what they're exactly implying about like, people getting mad about losing their stuff, because it's like, The Sims 4 is still right there if you want to just play that. Again, I guess they're just trying to cover their asses and not get caught up in a bunch of controversy about selling expansions for the exact same things for the third time.
And I guess the thing is, with The Sims 4, is it's had a much longer lifespan than other Sims games.
Yes.
So, you know, it's had a decade of being around, whereas other Sims games would have so many expansions, only really have, 3 to 5 years before the next one. So I guess they're thinking of it more as a platform than previous Sim games, right?
Right. That makes sense, except that now is tying you to the tech of a 10-year-old game, with all of the problems that causes.
Yeah, so there is that problem where, like, maybe they should, for just the sake of making a new game and making it for newer systems and everything. That does make sense. And then abandoning
the expansion model.
But
or at least being smarter about it.
That makes them a lot of money. Like, that is one of EA's bread and butters.
But I guess they're just gonna really milk this old horse until it gives out. I was very happy indeed to find out that this next Star Wars Jedi game will be the last. I am gonna be one of those.
Are you keeping an eye on the food, or do you want me to?
Oh yeah, I will.
Okay.
But okay, yes. So it's not that they're bad games. It's just that as a result, we haven't gotten Titanfall 3, and that makes me very annoyed. It also makes me very annoyed.
I guess you could say that, but the thing I would say to that is, like, would EA have put them necessarily on a Titanfall 3 directly, if not for...
Maybe not.
Like, I'm sure there are plenty of other projects EA would have found for Respawn.
Yeah, I guess. It's just that I didn't really expect a first-person shooter-oriented developer to pivot to making Star Wars a Souls-like.
Yeah.
Like, it's not necessarily that is a bad game idea. I just don't personally click with Souls-likes a lot of the time, but I did give both games a shot. And the performance was horrible.
When Fallen Order came out on EA Play, I played the first 3 or 4 hours. I liked it well enough, but yeah, the Souls-like element of it definitely was the part that made me enjoy it a little less. But I've played I've played the first third of a lot of Souls games, so like
yeah, I guess so.
It's not as if I'm, like, unaccustomed to them, so that didn't really bother me too much.
To them, because I still can't get past the first boss of Dark Souls 3 on the Xbox One. Yeah, if that makes you feel like you have to invalidate my opinion, you being the mass of hungry internet commenters out there or whatever, aiming to take a shot, then that's fine. It's just that, like, when it came to Fallen Order and Survivor later as well, it was the maps were incredibly confusing to navigate. They did improve that with Survivor, but then you would have to backtrack quite a bit, which they also improved with Survivor, but then you would have enemies respawning behind you, and that's just annoying busy work, and I hate respawning enemies. That is a core element of the Souls-like genre, so that's just gonna have to be something I accept. But it's also something that I'm gonna accept is not really for me as a result. Like, I tried, what was it? Why can't I even remember it now? The game where you're, like, killing gods with guns and magic and stuff that I was really excited about. Unfortunately, did not.
Is it
I'm
recent?
sure I'll look it up. Yeah,
like
recent
in the past
Game
year?
Pass. Yeah.
Gods with guns and magic.
I'm guessing you didn't play it, because
Yeah.
I did remember the game, it's just that, like, I don't know, nothing about it was all that special. There was definitely some intriguing twists on things, but everybody who follows the Dark Souls genre mold thinks they have to have a certain amount of conventions like these. And again, it's the genre conventions and the being trapped in like 10-year-long roadmaps or whatever that's stifling innovation in games. Because you simply cannot support everyone forever. That's just, there's technical limits for a reason. Like, that's why Apex Legends Mobile was canceled, despite, seeming like a no-brainer. Because you have to support so many mobile devices, and like, they can run out of battery after, like, 2 hours of playing your game, so how many people are then gonna... Like, it clearly didn't make enough money. It also didn't make enough money for Resident Evil 7 and stuff, so... It's just that, of course, the model of specific boxes with specific games is pretty much dead except for Nintendo. And maybe PlayStation, but it seems like maybe what they'll do is they'll release a handful of games a generation now, because they've locked themselves into this incredibly long roadmap with a bunch of, I think it's like Fate Heist or with a $sign or whatever, I can't even remember, that is coming out next year.
Fair Games.
Fair Games, yeah.
Yeah.
That just seems like another live service flop that they have to push out because that's what they were working on. This game industry is pivoting in a lot of different directions, but more like a confused, like critter than the slow intentionality of a battleship. Let's see. It seems like what's happening too is that people are going with forced innovation. Like, apparently the iPad OS 18 update, just as a non-gaming example, completely bricked the new iPad Pro that people spent $1,000+ on. Because, I don't know, they had a bunch of betas, they shouldn't have rushed this out. But maybe they didn't notice issue. Maybe there's just too many issues to detail. Maybe some person on Star Wars Outlaws was just so proud of the fact that they could have your character lean on walls and listen to custom music that they made that they didn't know that the rest of the game was on fire and that that the AI wasn't working. Like, why did this game ship with such bad AI?
That's the thing.
Fix it in post.
With game development, when you have that many cooks in the kitchen, all these different disciplines working on something, it's like something can come together beautifully, like animation, and then just implementation-wise, just fall apart. Which is, again, if I forget, did you ever watch the Double Fine documentary that they did for Psychonauts 2?
Just the first episode, but thanks for
Okay,
reminding me. I need to get back to
that's
that.
probably the most complete example that you can see of, like, oh my god, this music team is killing it, and then they have to figure out how to implement all this music in the game. Like, there's a whole little segment on that kind of thing. Like, there's always the implementation of great ideas that has to stick the landing in any game development.
Right, and there's just so many moving pieces now.
Yeah.
A lot of it could be the remote work, which Sending terabytes of files back and forth can get expensive, but there's return to office policies, so that probably isn't as impactful anymore. And let's see. Blur. Let's see. Oh yeah, and speaking of animation, it's the whole fix at the last minute. Oh no, I have to charge. It's telling me I have to charge my controller now.
Okay.
Darn. 1 second.
Well, if you want to grab the cable, yep.
Yep. But all right. Anyway, so this has been a night full of mishaps, but oh no. Okay, let's see. Okay, can you hear me okay at least? Okay. Alright, I think I'll be back in a minute.
Okay.
Alright, there we go. Oh yeah, I'm back now to, listening, but basically, in the realm of animation, it seems like, especially in 3D visual effects, because people don't have a union, they can be worked to the bone, and, told to change things super close to release for a movie or several TV shows. I mean, this isn't a new problem, it's just one that I feel like is happening to everything, is that people are rushing stuff to try and be trendy or whatever, instead of taking the time to be good. But then again, taking the time to be good is more expensive now. Because as technology continues to develop and as people expect bigger worlds and better graphics and faster loading times, these things do have to at least evolve somewhat. Can't just be like, okay, done, and then this is the engine that we have for the next 10 years, and there's never any iteration.
Yeah,
Still,
and I feel like one thing I hear a lot of the time is like, oh, I just want to play PS2 games forever, and like, people think that they want that, but as much as I like playing old games, I think a lot of those would not actually be palatable to a modern audience these days.
Yeah, and having patches as giant as they can be is probably better than shipping out a broken game and then just being like, deal with it.
Yeah, I can intuit what you mean by you want to play PS2 games, but if I'm taking you at your literal word on that, like, you probably don't actually want that.
At least there's some games, again, that are getting back to the spirit of older games. Like, Skate, did you see that they're having a console playtest?
Yes. I've been signed up for that for over a year, hoping to get it.
Yeah, so, I figured as much.
I am very well aware. I've gotten some updates about it, but no.
You gonna get a PS5 Pro for that? Just kidding.
I'm on their mailing list, but they haven't invited me, so I'm not in that yet.
Yeah, they'll probably contact you soon. But
I hope so.
But on the subject of forced innovation, it's been stated many times, and I don't want to get super into it because, well, I did, and then it ate my audio. But the PS5 Pro just strikes me as something that was done because they saw that the PS4 Pro was successful last time, and they said, we need that in order to keep our hardware profits up. We need Indiana Jones on PS5 to make sure that our quarterly results are always going up. We need this. Whereas, like, Nintendo, at least, they seem to be like a tiger crouching at the moment, but ready to strike. Yeah. By again $299 the shit out of Sony's PS6 or whatever with even a $400 Nintendo Switch 2. Because at the low end, there's still the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, when you said $299, I didn't think you meant literally $299 because there's no chance of that. I don't think there's any chance of that.
It's just like a bomb that drops in apparently 1 to 6 weeks is the announcement because they shot a commercial.
Yeah, I feel like it has to be at this point. Like, it feels like the leaks are just getting more and more imminent and more like concrete, and that's the point where you have to look at it as a company like, we need to get this info out there our way, unless, in a controlled way that we can manage, rather than let the leakers have a field day with it.
Yeah,
so,
well...
I feel like it has to be sooner rather than later on that.
We know of at least one game, though, for the Nintendo Switch 2, or whatever they're going to call it. Let's just assume Switch 2 for now. My Time at Portia dev announced a sequel for PC, Xbox Series X and S, PS5, and future Nintendo platforms yet to be announced.
Wonder what that could be.
No, right? They didn't mention the regular Nintendo Switch, but that's probably because at this point, like, when it comes to consoles, the Series S is the new floor. I've heard that in terms of graphical capability, it might be... There's definitely some debate about this, obviously, since it's going off of, like, Chinese shipping manifests and crap. But that these 12 gigabytes of RAM could be, like, 2 to 3 times as performative as the Steam Deck. Which would be great, because then it would be maybe 1080p on the go. I mean, it probably wouldn't be. It would probably be a lower screen, and Nintendo is almost certainly going to underclock it. For battery reasons and stuff like that, but I could easily see, like bring all your old accessories.
Yeah, it's going to be like, you know, Nintendo always goes on their battery. Although I feel like the launch Switch, at least my launch Switch, always had a pretty terrible battery life. I know they improved that later on. So hopefully, the Switch 2 does lean hard on the battery life thing.
And this processor, the T239, was apparently made for automobile vision processing, so it's not the most CPU capable, apparently. But that's fine, because as long as you can run PS5 games that are normally performative higher than that at 30 FPS, I think most people will be fine.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, well... And the monitor issue strikes again. I am so up to here with this. It might be that the monitor is going to sleep on me without asking me after it just... Which makes no sense because there's stuff going on. It shouldn't be going to sleep. I don't get it. But, you know, technology. It's getting confusing and convoluted, but Nintendo is always there with a simple charm to add to their experiences that really makes it, like, feel like a Nintendo product. If you put a black cage over a PS5 or an Xbox Series X and just had it run a third-party multiplayer game, I'm not sure I could tell you, because, like, you can play console games or PC games on the couch now with controllers. It's not inconceivable that there could be a high-end PC. It just seems like they're chasing the high-end so much that they're in pursuit of more steady, predictable Valve and Apple-like profits, that they're gonna cede basically the console race to Nintendo. Or at least the traditional idea of what consoles are, as in low-price boxes with somewhat high-priced games, but ones that, you know, work consistently.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that Nintendo could eat into Sony's margins, especially with the PS6, because, like, if the PS5 is already good enough for a lot of people, and they don't end up upgrading to the PS5 Pro a lot, which, like, you really should not, unless you're that much of a graphics head, and then will convince you.
I would have been tempted at 600 with a disc drive. That's about my ceiling for the PS5 Pro.
Yeah. Maybe 600 without, 700 with the disc drive would have been fine by me if I still had a PS5 and I could trade that in
exactly.
Or sell
and that's also assuming I'm going to get a decent trade-in for my current PS5.
Well, I mean, I saw, just out of curiosity, I did look it up, and even though GameStop's trade-in website is, like, fucking broken, they still managed to give me a $200-something estimate. It's just, the brokenness was that they said, well, put in your email to get your trade estimates sent in to you, and then bring that to the store, so that they can claim that they have engagement for, like, power-up rewards crap or whatever. but it was like 200 something, which isn't nothing. But if you're trading that in for a PS5 Pro, and the games barely look better, why not just hold on for a couple of years and then wait for the PS6 at that point?
Yeah, but
Like,
that's what I get into, where like I don't really like thinking about like thinking that far in the future. It's like, well, if I want better performing games now, I'll get a PS5 Pro. And if the performance gap does get that much bigger, then I'll get it. But nothing that I've seen from it, even from that Digital Foundry stuff that just came out, it's like, okay, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth does seem a lot better in 60 FPS mode on the PS5 Pro, but I've already played 3/4 of that game. So that's like the one. That's the one case that. That's the one case that I saw that made me think like,
I didn't
maybe.
See that, by the way.
Yeah, so. That's the one thing they've shown that has made me like think like, But I'm already almost done with that game. I don't need to play the last quarter of it, you know.
Right, and I don't care because I can play it on my Steam Deck.
Yeah.
At 720p, and it performs fine. It's about 60 FPS in most things, and it's turn-based battles anyway. Why do you really need frame rate all that bad?
Well, I mean, it's more hybrid turn.
Well, hybrid,
real time.
Duh.
Yeah.
But yeah, still, it doesn't feel like it's that precise.
It's not the most demanding of like high frame rate and responsiveness.
Yeah,
nice to have, but not necessary.
What I did when I was considering the performance delta for the Xbox One X, which was another point I brought up during the haunted audio that is gone forever, is that I sold. Let me just check to see if that is a. Yep, it's a skeleton ship.
Okay.
That was a galleon too, so that would have been bad if the galleon had spotted us. Yeah. But like, okay. I know what I was gonna say now. So basically, like, I sold my Xbox One to a friend, who I thought would take good care of it. But anyway, then I got the Xbox One X, and that was an immediate improvement in loading times and solidity of performance. Because a lot of times during the middle to end generation, the Xbox One just was struggling to keep up frame rates at all. There's no indication for most PS5 games that this is a problem. Maybe it's something that bothers people who like have VRR display who don't have VRR displays.
Yeah,
some of this out.
It certainly doesn't feel like as big of a problem as it was last generation, at least. Like, I remember I got the One X. I think we talked about this last time too. But like, I got the One X, and it was like, oh, this is like a pretty big deal for a lot of these games that are getting One X patches in terms of performance and just image quality. In this case, I could be persuaded, like, if they show enough real examples of, like, this is a game that looks so much better on the PS5 Pro, then maybe I'd consider it with a price drop, maybe. But I'm still just at the point where...
I don't think price drops are happening for consoles, like, ever anymore.
Yeah, like...
They're just not.
Yeah. So
They're just going to make new SKUs with different storage and stuff, and that's going to be our price cuts. It's like, which kind of sucks.
So,
because the cheap console bundle with a game in it would be nice. And you know how you sell your nice game and your nice console together? Is you bundle them. Like, bundling Astrobot with the PS5 Pro would probably have cost some sales in the short term, but in the longer term, it would have been a showcase game that you would get immediately as soon as you turned on your console, and then you would be amazed by how shiny the bot is and stuff, and you would have fun with the game, and people would be like, well, this is a good showcase for the PS5 Pro, because I got value out of it. Like, it's not so much about price. People are fine for some silly reason with paying $1,000 for phones every year. Not as many as used to be the case. Because, like, I looked at the iPhone 16 Pro and I'm like, great, you have a shutter button. Fantastic. But even your most touted feature, Apple Intelligence, isn't going to be ready for another month. and is available on my phone, the 15 Pro, and also probably is going to be very fairly featured for at least the next 6 months, if not a year. Sorry, you were saying?
I mean, I was just going to add to the phone price thing you were on, because, like, I just have never felt the need to spend more than, like, $300 to $400 for a phone. Maybe that's just my use cases for them, but, like, I just have never seen the appeal of the $1,000 flagship phones.
I only got my phone for $1,000 because I had to. Because my iPhone 12 was basically about to explode.
Oh, did we hit?
That was bad timing.
Oh,
that was very bad timing.
I'm repairing. You want to bail? We must have
I can't believe I said that as it was exploding. I'm off the ship, by the way, so I can't help.
Oh, okay. I repaired the holes. I'm gonna start bailing. I hear some fire too.
We just had very unfortunate fires and stuff.
I know.
On the ship. Okay.
All right. Oh, one more. Okay.
This is probably something like Inzoi, which basically seems like the next gen Sims that I've been wanting, and games like that will probably be better for like commentary and stuff. When I'm solo, it's such. Oh, what? It's still there? Okay, yeah, I gotta get rid of you.
Okay. I'm just gonna keep getting us to the low coast because we're almost there.
Okay, I know what to do with this. Sign on. Shanties. We're just riding!
There you go.
Whatever. Exactly. Just riding through whatever peril. Oh, man, like, just riding through whatever peril. Oh, man, like, it wouldn't even be like so bad if you could actually use the PS5 without the vertically without the stand. Because I tried that, and that's probably why the thermal paste slid off and melted.
Yeah,
and that's why I couldn't use my PS5 anymore, and I had to sell it. I mean, that was me being dumb, so I'm not blaming Sony for that. They included the vertical stand for a reason, and I should have just read it.
Yeah, but wait, you can also.
Is this the island?
Yes.
Okay.
So
this is.
I'm sailing towards the.
Port Merrick. Never mind.
There should be a coastal cove, I think. Let me see what the clue says. Battered rowboat in the North Coastal Cave. Okay, there it is.
I'm gonna put these rum bottles on our boat, even with the fact that we're probably very far from Port Merrick. Yes, I'd have to check the map, but
we're fairly far. Whoops.
It's okay. I'll repair. But basically, it'll be like a storage crate left for other people to do if they want.
Right, so the skeletons should be somewhere. Oh wait, no, there they are. Okay. They're up on the sledge up here. So we can honestly... Fantastic. I was going to say we could cannon them, but they're shadow skeletons, so...
Yeah,
I can actually go fight them. Yeah.
I'll be Lantern.
Alright.
Where are we with that? Uh-oh.
We're just... I was hoping there would be a ledge on here, but maybe not.
We might have to go through that interior cave system.
There's a little rock you can climb on. I knew there was something
nice.
like that.
Okay. Well, knowing my luck with getting stuck in geometry... Okay. Phew. I did it. Okay, so those have already been shined on. There we go. And perfect. I had forgotten that I ran out of ammo, so... Oh, but speaking of more good news for this game specifically, did you see that, where was it exactly? That Sea of Thieves had a whole big production in New York to celebrate New York Liberty's push to
Oh yeah,
playoffs.
I saw you sent me that. Yeah, I watched that. It was interesting.
It seems to show that the biggest cultural cachet that Xbox has is this game. This is the game that defines the Xbox One and Series X generation.
Yeah. If you don't count any of their like acquisitions, I guess. If you want to just count the pre-acquisition era, then definitely.
And like Forza Horizon and stuff, but 3/4 of those games are gone forever, so it's more of a Forza Horizon 5 right now, and that game unfortunately is mid. I hope something that's a bit more focused, like a Japan entry with more biome variety, and just like more compactness. Because I don't need giant maps in games anymore. I just need maps that are fun to traverse. Because that's what, like, Sunset Overdrive had.
Water over here.
It didn't have the biggest map or the most variety of activities to do, but everything was fun because the traversal was fantastic. I'm dead.
Yeah, there's a lot of gold skeletons. I'm just going to lure them all to the water.
Okay, that's
I'm not
fine.
going to be able to get you. They're going to beat me up if I try to get you.
That's okay, I should have... Okay, that's
I'm not
fine.
going to be able to get you. They're going to beat me up if I try to get you.
That's okay, I should double check if I have throwables when I get on the ship.
I got most of them lured in the water now, so I should be able to take them out.
Well, I got the green flame at least. I don't know if you still have the white flame in your lantern. You
You
should hang on to that if possible.
Yeah, I
And then
should
we
light
can
up
light
our
it.
ship. Wait, yeah, when I'm back on the ship, I can light some of the lanterns.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
gonna go back for ammo in a sec anyways.
Alright, well, I'm thinking like a nice sickly green light over the map. There we go. Anyway, alright, so... Yep, ammo, good on that, and throwables. Are we good? Oh, now we can cannon them. Okay, let me wait until that bumps a little bit, and... Yep, direct hit. Ooh, fatality.
Nice.
Okay, yeah, this is pretty much just a turkey shoot at this point. Which is fine by me, because I've been dying to shoot some things with cannon. Whee! Okay.
There we go. Alright, let me see if the next wave's gonna spawn.
I'm gonna get more throwables myself. And then shoot myself out of a cannon.
There's one gold guy left here that didn't follow me. I just gotta lure him. Come on.
Or we can just shoot him. A
That
bunch.
works, I guess. There we go.
Elaborate plans, etc. Oh, and apparently there was a gunpowder barrel right there.
Oh.
So, if we just want to back out of the cave system and leave them to their fate,
These plant
I'm
guys
fine with
are...
that.
Yeah,
No!
that works though. That works.
Oops. Well, I barely lived through that. What about you?
I'm fine.
Okay. Like, I literally had 1 pixel of health. It felt like. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say we should wait for another wave of the gold skeletons. 'Cause
Oh,
now
well,
now we gotta deal with them.
in the dark I thought that they were gold skeletons. But, well, anyhow.
Alright, come on, everybody. Oh yeah, I've got some throwables too. Yeah, you might want to back up though. I've got a bunch of flame things I can use.
Jump in the line. Oh, jump in the line. Be like, come back and you wanna go home. Or
I've
however
got
it
the
goes.
water.
Right. Yeah, water. Nicely done. Oh crap, I have no ammo! I'm gonna grab this ammo pouch. 1 second. I was going in there all like, this is my boop! Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh, well.
Shadow skeletons.
Somebody added me as a friend for some reason. I appreciate that, I suppose, but I will deal with that later.
Alright, I'm gonna use my
Bunch of
flame.
cannons. A bunch of captains. Ow, ow, ow. Can you not? Alright. Well, at least if we can get them to the water, then they'll be kind of stuck there.
Here, I can go to the cannon and see if I can get him.
I'll just keep hammering them from here. So they aggro me. Well, I mean, it's not like they can do anything to you if you're on the ship, but still. Also, we're out of throwables, so if... What?! I got an achievement! 500 skeletons on an Order of Souls bounty voyage.
Wow.
Grindy AF, but so worth it for the ding.
I wonder if I've
have...
them yet.
Well, if you did, you probably got it a little bit earlier than me because you've done more solo stuff than me, but...
Yeah, because I used to do a lot of
your achievements list later.
Stuff solo. Yeah. What was the
Also,
name
I like your choice of lanterns. Anyway, let me just... Oh, did we win?
Yeah, we just have to go collect the skulls.
Okay. So yeah, you know what? I should have said it like, did you win? Like when Patrick is like unhelpfully commentating on the battle between SpongeBob and Where Sandy, I think it was, and then gets knocked by her into the pit with SpongeBob.
Was that the wait? That's not from the
hibernation one. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's put that one down.
All right, so I guess we'll just go sell. Unfortunately, we didn't get the final part of the voyage because we couldn't finish that riddle. Let me just check the cave and make sure there's no more loot in there, because there is one more skull left that's in the water. I'll grab it.
And then I'll grab you.
All right. Maybe that'll get us grade 3? Yes. Okay, cool.
Oh, wait, did I accidentally... oh, there we go.
You grabbed the skull. Okay, there we go.
And then I grabbed you. But, you know what? Same difference.
Alright, and we got Sanctuary Outpost right next to us.
So I was accidentally more precise than I meant to. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah, no threats as far as I can see.
Direct line to Sanctuary.
And you know what? Whoever is at Sanctuary after us, they can deal with the rum bottles, because that's pretty close by, actually. So, good luck, best of luck to you, you salty sea dog. But yeah, okay, so back on gaming stuff. So I can see a situation where the PS6 is the delayed downswing for Sony, because they don't get the sales that they want out of the gate with $1,000 or whatever, and maybe Microsoft waits to price until Sony goes first, and then is like, haha, we can do this hardware subsidy thing one more time, and this time maybe it'll work. I mean, they probably don't want to do that, so maybe they'll just go the lazy monopolist route of like, oh, well, again, your digital libraries are trapped. If you want to play them on real hardware and not a frickin' server that's killing the planet. Because, like, apparently, writing an email with ChatGPT takes the equivalent of one bottle of water to cool the servers with.
That doesn't surprise me.
They're working on other methods of cooling these servers that I think are going to be very, very necessary as we put a lot more tasks in computers and on clouds and stuff. Because, like, where do people... It's like, where do people think those servers live? For me, the reason why I'm able to get such good ping in most multiplayer games is because that's Northern Virginia. And people hate it there with the noise and the lack of durable jobs for the area. So they've been fighting some of this expansion into servers. And Microsoft could easily just be like, you know what? If you all, we're going to make this $1,000 because Sony said it was okay. And, well, it's a fancy AI box, so we can have a bunch of AI buzzwords.
The thing that I want to know, which I know we also touched on last time, is like, I feel like Microsoft wants to strike first before Sony puts out a PS6. So that's the thing that makes me think like they're going to have some new hardware out in the interim between the PS5 Pro and the PS6 to try to just carve out a different niche than they've been doing. Yeah, I don't know what form exactly it will be. yeah, I don't know exactly what form it will be, but they will have something new in the market in that sort of halfway point, almost like a mid generation refresh if you want to get that
yeah, I guess
granular
so.
about it.
3/4 life.
Yeah, but for them,
Refresh.
they would want to just sort of. I think the best thing they can do at this point is have just a clean slate. Just say, here's our box, whatever form it's going to be in. It's just an Xbox. You can play your games on it. That they just need to make that simple pitch and have games to show and games to play.
Games to play.
I don't care if they're exclusive
Nintendo will.
to the platform. I don't personally care about any of that. They just have to have games worth playing that are available on the system.
There has to be some exclusivity window, and I cannot stand the idea that they're gonna just announce when that ends immediately, because that would undermine the whole point of getting the box for a lot of people. Maybe for some people it's just like, this is the cheap FIFA box, but those people are low value for Microsoft.
Yeah,
they are.
For me, like I don't really.
They buy one game a year and then that's it, or maybe 5 a year.
I'm bought in enough on the ecosystem that I don't need to like have a bunch of new reasons to buy the next Xbox. Like just having more games to play is good enough for me, and having a new system that'll play the games for a few years, that's kind of all I really need.
Okay. Now it's your turn to have cut out.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah. So can you say that again? Sorry.
Yeah, like for me, like I have a pretty low buy-in. Like the buy-in proposition for a new console for me is pretty simple. It's just like have games for me to play. I don't care if they're exclusive. So I guess maybe for the market at large it's a bit different, but yeah, for me personally, like I just have enough. I have enough of my library built up in this ecosystem the past, almost 20 years that I don't really.
Maybe that's what they're counting on.
Like I don't need much to sell me on it. Besides, you can play the games you already have, and we're gonna have new games to play. That's what it boils down to.
Here's what I think. I think that in order to try to get ahead of Sony's handheld in 2027, that's attempting to face off against the Steam Deck 2 and the Nintendo Switch 2, the home console portion will definitely not be until 2028, is my prediction. Just because the optics would look terrible to be like, here's the most powerful console. And then it's not the most powerful console, and it also didn't get pretty much any games that were new and original to it. That is why people have been like, why didn't I just get a PC? I mean, at that point, you could get the games for cheaper. You wouldn't have to pay for frickin' online multiplayer in 2024. I mean, the only reason that I do it is because I played this game on my Xbox with you. If I was in PC, I would just go for the standard, honestly, because they haven't put out enough day one games to convince me that that's a real selling point. It's just as long as the Game Pass Ultimate tricks don't run out for me, I'll stay sub to that, but definitely not at $20 a month. And for a new console, when I've had to sell my old Xbox and buy a new one after my move, it was kind of annoying to do that. And so that kind of impacted the whole longevity of okay, I'm really in this. They would need to make it $500 to convince me to get it at launch. If it's $1,000, I could save for that, but it would be a luxury item, and I'd probably get... Because I didn't mention before, I had actually... apparently we got 3,000 for that barrel. Or maybe that was just delayed. But, I got $100 in trade credit for my Xbox One X but I used that as a down payment for the Series X. I just don't know if there's this pent-up demand anymore for the newest graphics box.
Oh, you cut out that last half sentence or so.
Hello? Okay. Yeah, this is fucking annoying. I gotta figure out a different microphone solution. But anyway, so, I... Okay, I know. I was, like, yeah, this is just a down payment. I can save for the rest later. And I do feel the box has been worth it this time, because it had games, it had Microsoft Flight Simulator, it had Psychonauts, it had Forza Horizon 5. They had the best year they've had in a long time in 2021, and everything's been sparse since, in terms of original games. Like, it's fine that this is the closed box PC that has all my games, but I'm also fine with just not getting the new box if it's just an expensive-ass box with no games for it. Throw in a bundled game, at least, if you're going to do $1,000.
Yeah, $1,000 would be an incredibly tough sales pitch, even for me. Like, as bought into the ecosystem as I am, like, you would have to really convince me that this box is going to be worth it in a long-term way. Because, like, right now, it's like, I bought the Series X for $500. It's like, okay, if this is going to be, you know, buying it in 2020, not sure if they might do a refresh at the, you know, at the 3 or 4 year mark. It's like, okay, I'm buying the $500 box. Yeah. I'm buying the $500 box.
I'm fine
oh, by the way, if you want to go lower, emissary.
Oh, right. I forgot where the thing was here.
But, you know, I bought the box knowing the proposition of it, like, you know, maybe just having a 3 to 4 year lifespan. But it's like, if it's that much of a generational jump from the one, you know, Xbox One X, then I felt it was worth it. Even if it's not, like, you know, brimming with zillions of exclusive games. I'm just here to play games. I don't need everything to be...
Look, I don't need everything to be exclusive forever either. I just would like to have a reason to have picked this specific box and not a PC. And
yeah.
when you're telling me that I have to pay more for less Game Pass, and then have to pay for online multiplayer, and have to pay the exorbitant digital prices, like, I'm really excited to get Life is Strange Double Exposure. That's going to be the first physical game that I've braved myself to go to a store for in a minute, because of, like, you know, safety reasons as a trans person. But also, like, they're clearly disincentivizing that as an option by not having the deluxe thingy with all the cat costumes or whatever. As a physical edition, it's only the standard edition that you can pre-order. But, like, I can sell games to buy that. Like, I like the idea of having a box that works for 10 years, that plays physical media, and that has interesting new games for it. If it's like every game is exclusive for 12 months, well, I'll still enjoy that at cheap prices because of Game Pass, even after it goes to PS5. It's just that during the entire Xbox One generation, I was like, please, can we have some new games? And then got bullied for an entire fucking generation by a bunch of PS4 fanboys who were like, Xbox has no games. Maybe make them beg for a year for a port to PS5 or something, or 2. You know, because maybe some games you hold back for longer. I don't really know what's going on in Phil Spencer's head, because it feels like his head is empty at the moment, with all of the orders that he's being told from on high to push out, with bored and blank looks on his face. But like, the main thing for me is, when it comes to the Nintendo Switch 2, is that if I just want somebody to give Sony, the monopolist, a slap on the cheek and, like, tell them, you need to back off from this route that you're on, or you're going to lose customers. Like, maybe Xbox gets a handheld to appeal to the low end, but what does Sony really have for the low end? Again, maybe a handheld, but who knows how that would go? And then if the PS6 is $1,000 and the handheld is crowded out by the Nintendo Switch 2, the Xbox handheld, and the Steam Deck 2, well, I mean, not crowded out, but just, like, not as big, then I worry that Sony won't have as much money to spend on, like, big games. But then maybe that's finally the wake-up call for them to make shorter games with
I think
graphics.
I caught the gist of that, but you're cutting out again.
Oh, fuck me. Anyway, so basically,
it
like,
maybe a good sign to kind of
yeah, that's fair.
I'm
gonna wrap. But anyway, So basically, I'm hoping that the Nintendo Switch 2, at whatever price it is a massive undercut to the PS5 Pro, and that it helps Nintendo gain some people who would otherwise have gone to the PS6 because they're like, oh well, I can just play the same game. I can just play these games on the go now, before Sony can do the handheld. And then maybe they don't spend $300 million on the next Spider-Man. I don't really know what these budgets are all about. Maybe we can talk about that next time. But you have a good one, my friend. This has been a very fun voyage. You were saying.
I'm not... Let me think of the next time I might be on. So, would it be... possibly Friday? Are you doing anything Friday?
Nope, I'm not. We can probably do a stream of some other game or just chill and do something. So, I'm fine with that.
So possibly Friday. If not then Sunday would be the next day. Okay. Okay. So
Sounds
either
good.
of those days would probably work for you?
Tentatively, I'll let you know.
Okay. Yeah.
If something comes up, but it's unlikely.
Okay. Sounds good. So I'll let you know about Friday. It kind of just depends on work that day because they've been very desperate. They might need me to stay late that day. So we'll see.
And fingers crossed it actually recorded and stuff.
Yeah, like work asked me to work tomorrow, but I was like, I need 2 days off in a row for once.
Good.
So
good.
I told them no for the first time in a while.
I had my office day today, and I'm looking forward to a couple days of telework before the weekend. But anyway, you have a good rest of your night.
Yep. See you sometime soon.
Friday or Sunday, maybe.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. See ya. Bye.
You have a good one. All right. Bye.